I want to say a massive thank you to Hendy Renault in Brighton for facilitating the use of the Renault 5 today. They're a great dealership. You should definitely check them out. They've got dealerships across the whole of the South Coast. So if you want some really good expertise within Renaults and Dacias, you should definitely give them a call and have a little chat to see about booking a test drive with them. So once again, thank you to them. Today we've got the Renault 5. We're going to be having a little look around in terms of all the controls, how it feels inside the vehicle, how it drives, and kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of the vehicle as a whole, its specs, and everything like that. So I hope you enjoy the video. As ever, if you could please like and subscribe, it really helps with the algorithm and pushing our videos forward to more people, allowing more people to have a greater understanding of how the vehicle works and give them an informed purchase. And if they own the vehicle, a little reminder on how to use all of the controls. The Renault 5 comes with 4 specs: the Evolution, the Techno, the Iconic 5 and the Roland Garros. This one's in the midnight blue, as you can see, a really, really nice colour. But it also comes in 5 others, being a yellow, a green, a white, a black and the blue. So the Renault 5 comes with 2 powertrains, 120 horsepower and 150 horsepower. This one here is the 150 and we will be driving that shortly, and we will kind of talk you through how that feels on the road. This being the Techno level, so we will kind of go around shortly and show you what that trim has. Next level above being the Iconic 5, that's the kind of penultimate of your equipment level. That will have the most gadgets, most accessories, etc. Above that, the last one is the Roland Garros. That is a style choice, and that is, I'll show you again on kind of how it looks, but there is difference in terms of interior design, some customizable items, which you can kind of make the car a little bit more stylish for yourself if that's the kind of thing you like. But as I say, this is the Techno level, and we're going to go through that today. So as we look at the front end, you'll see the really nice kind of styling that Renault have now moved towards, and it's a trend across all of their vehicles. The Techno here has full LED daytime running lights and full LED main lights. We've got the nice diamond alloy wheels. Your wing mirrors are fully electric, so that's electric adjustable, electric folding. As we come around to the rear of the vehicle, nice Renault iconography all through. For anyone that's unaware, I'm sure a lot of people are nowadays, but the green stripe is showing that they are electric vehicles. That's a government initiative just to start to kind of show people on the road how many electric vehicles are out there. We've got rear parking sensors and a rear parking camera on this vehicle. Shark fin antenna. This, as I said before, is the midnight blue, but it has had the option of a diamond black roof, giving it the 2-tone colour, which I feel really makes it pop. So we're going to go inside and go through some of the controls now, give you a bit of an idea of where everything is. So key feature, obviously being an electric vehicle, is your charge port. So press in there and we've got your charge. You just plug in the charger there and it will lock. You pull this one out if you're at a DC fast charger, so kind of those chargers on the motorway, etc. You just pull that out and it will be a full bit that goes into there. Otherwise you leave that on as the cover. Then when you're going to take your charger off, disconnect your car, you just press this one here and it unlocks it. But your vehicle has to be unlocked, so no one can walk up to it and just pull out your charger. Your vehicle has to be unlocked. You press this and pull it off. This is to turn the timer off. So as I said to you, inside the vehicle you can adjust the programming to charge at certain times, and that's this here. As we go into the passenger side here, so electric front windows with auto function. The vehicle has got the Renault Assistance AI, so we will be going through that later, and I'll show you some nifty things that can do with things like the windows. We've got the two-tone upholstery here and a mix fabric and leather. The fabric dash here, I'm always a bit mixed on these. They look really nice, but it is another thing that can get a bit scuffed up. But I think you'll find, same as me, that it looks quite smart. Glove box is a fair size. As you can see, it goes back quite deep, but it is a little bit narrow. But in the size of the vehicle, it's pretty comprehensive. As we move from the passenger front to the rear, door handles are up here, nice, sleek, hidden away, keeping the door nice and smart. And we move into the back. Obviously, this is a smaller vehicle, so rear space is, as you would expect, a little bit on the smaller side. But I'm going to jump in and give you an idea of how my knee room is. So I'm going to give you a little idea of leg room here. Obviously, I'm only around a 5'10", 5'11", so if you're a 6 foot plus, this is going to be a little bit different. But this is just to give you kind of an illustrative example of where the leg room is when I sit in the front, and then when we move to the back, how that then kind of translates. So as you can see here, I've got very good clearance. Yeah, very comfortable here. Can even stretch my legs out a little bit here. So if I'm in this position, let's see how it is in the back. So from that position, we're going to get into the back here. So I can get in easily enough. I mean, I still have clearance. The front probably could have gone forward a bit. As you saw, I was stretching out. So if you did have someone a little bit taller than myself in the back, you could pull that forward a little bit. But as it is, that's fine. I would want that forward if I was on a long journey. But for the kind of general usage, nipping around town, kind of those hour journeys, plenty fine here. Now we're going to do the same exercise on the front and see how that feels. So ease of getting in completely. Feet are on the pedals, as you can see. Not too much of an arch on my legs there. Feel really comfortable here. Seat is down. Visibility is good. So let's see how it is in the back. So as we get into the back here, we'll see how it feels. Okay, so this is more cramped. I think my main issue is I'm struggling to get my feet underneath this seat. Where the front seat is height adjustable and it is dropped, that is kind of preventing my feet from getting under properly. If this was raised, I think it would be fine. Leg room, obviously, compared to that one, it is a little bit further back, so we are a little bit tighter, but still, that's comfortable. With that height adjust, I mean, if there was an adult in the back, that's an issue. But if it's a child, it's really not a factor. So I guess it's just one of those things. If you had 4 adults in here, the front seat would just need to be raised a little bit. So as we look to the boot, the little push button here, it's a manual boot and raises up. We've got the handle here for a pull down. As you can see, it's a pretty good sized boot. The drop is quite substantial. I mean, that's a fair hand and a half drop and lip there. That's really good for you storing stuff. Obviously, if you suffer from kind of any back problems or lifting any weight out, it can make it a little bit harder. So it's just one thing to bear in mind. If you're putting some heavy stuff in there, there is a substantial lip to lift up and over. As you can see, top tether for both, and you'll have ISOFIX throughout the vehicle. Single boot light and a small little parcel shelf there. Another thing to note while we're in the back here, full automatic windows for the rear as well. Tinted rear windows, and for the back window there. There is not any door space in the rear, and you have just got 2 small kind of book bags at the back here. head height, I mean, I'm quite tall in the body, so if I'm sitting upright, I am touching the top. So again, if you are kind of taller than me, that could be a little bit of something to bear in mind and something definitely to test out. But if I wasn't sitting completely straight, it's fine. So moving around to the front, so we've got our door controls here. As you can see, the 4 full auto, the rear lock, your full electric wing mirror controls, so you would select left or right and then move them around. And then this is to bring them in electronically. So if you're going through a tight space as you're parking, for example, you can bring them in before you've actually stopped the vehicle. Otherwise, they do, as you walk away and the vehicle locks, they will lock automatically. So to do height adjust for the driver's seat, we have the lever here. It's just to pull up and pull down. Lever at the front to pull forward and backwards. And in this spec, we've also got the height adjust on the passenger side here. The inside roof of the vehicle has this checkered design. It's quite smart, quite stylish. And then you've got 2 lights to the rear there. As you can see, the blind spot, it's quite a hefty column. So it's just something to bear in mind, and we'll see how that is while we're driving. As mentioned before, you have the ISOFIX on both sides. You also have it on the front passenger seat, which is quite nice. And then you've got the 3 full seat belts there. Round to the front, we're going to go through a little bit of the entertainment system, a little bit of the steering wheel controls, and go from there. So if I put the foot on the brake, we have the power button up here. So if we press that, everything will power up. We've got this really lovely, clear, big dash here. Everything, obviously full screens and electric, no manual dials, being the style of Renault's kind of entertainment systems and dashes now. So, in the central, we have a pretty sizable drop down there. So, nice storage compartment. Armrest built in, nice soft touch. And then we've got 2 compartments there, so for drinks, etc. This that you saw me lift up, this is one of Renault's accessories. So you can change up the design colour for the actual cup, and you've also got a lid here. It's a 3D printed accessory. It drops up like that, so it's a little storage accessory there, which you can purchase if you wish. We have got phone charging wirelessly there, and then 2 of the new USB ports here. One thing to note is it doesn't have the old style USB, so you would have to get an old adapter and pop it in there if you wish to use the older style USBs, but everything is moving away from those, hence the style like this. Got a little port here. I mean, that's quite good if you wanted to put your key for the vehicle in there. Next to it, we've got the handbrake, the electronic handbrake, and the auto hold. What I mean about the keys, so that can just pop in there. Obviously, I've got 2 in a bag here, being a vehicle from the garage. The A here, that's your auto hold, so you can pop that off if you wish, or you can leave it on. I would advise leaving it on. It just means when you do stop, it will automatically apply the handbrake. It's just safer, easier, so I would always have that on. And then we've got the handbrake here, which will automatically come off, but you can pop it down by pressing it there, and you'll see the light go off and your handbrake's off, and then you just pull it back up to engage. As we move up, really limited buttons here, which is, for me, I really like it. It's just clear and easy to use. You've got your hazards, you have got your lock, which again, you can set to come on automatically as you start driving, just a safety feature. Otherwise you can press it and you can hear the doors lock and unlock there. Temperature control, up and down, they're just little, as you can see it flicking back and forward. Fan speed, max demist, front, rear. Automatic, so it will read what the temperature is of the day and kind of do the opposite. So if it's a blinding hot day, you do it, cold air, and vice versa. Cycle air within the vehicle, pretty standard. Turn your AC up to max. Change the direction of your fans, and you just turn your aircon off. So aircon all in one, easy to use. And that is kind of all your manual buttons. We then move up to the assistants here and your full Satnav. So as you can see, we have the Satnav here. Kind of, you can do distances. But if we say, right, Newcastle upon Tyne, it's going to take us 6 hours to get there. Because it's an electric vehicle, it will go through and tell you where it thinks to stop. I've only got 20% range in this vehicle at the moment, so it's telling me I need to charge before I go anywhere, really. So it's advising me to charge for 37 minutes here, and then as you go up, and that's, as I say, because I've got no charge. It wouldn't normally kind of advise this many on a route. But then we've got 22 minutes, another stop, and a final stop there. So that's the sat-nav kind of explained with showing you the kind of charging spots along the way. If we tap here, we'll move over to music. So we've got obviously a full DAB radio. Bluetooth, so you can connect to Bluetooth. Also has Apple CarPlay as standard. As you can see there, Apple, Android, and you can add some other apps of your choice. And then just goes through to your kind of your more in-depth controls. So you've got My Driving, your Eco Score. So this will show you how your driving is affecting your range. If you drive more aggressively, you accelerate fast, you brake late, etc., your score will go down and your range will go down. So economic driving in an electric vehicle is all about doing what we're all told to do when we learn, and that's to start braking early, accelerate slowly, just be mindful of basically how you're driving the vehicle. The vehicle still has all of its regenerative charge features that we have experienced with the Zoe and some of the other electric vehicles in the market. For those that don't know and are new to electric vehicles, as you brake, it will convert some of that kinetic energy and that heat, etc., into energy for the battery, and it kind of brings some of that used energy back. If we come out of My Driving, and I'm just going to show you through some of the others. So vehicle, we've got the outside, so auto locks, etc. As I said, you can kind of change that. Welcome. So there's different things as you get into the vehicle. Bits will light up, some music will play, etc. But you can change that really here and turn them off if you don't like them, because a lot of people don't find that kind of stuff very useful or appealing. And then you can change settings here. So when you pop it into reverse, rear wiper will come on. You can turn that off if you don't like it, and you can turn off the automatic front wipers. All of these things are advisable and good to have on, but it depends on how you are as a person, and if some of these things really annoy you or just aren't really appealing, then you can just get rid of them and not use them. So that's your outside cockpit. Things like the screen, you can change brightness. You've got a favorite button on the steering wheel, so you can change what that does, to have it as a phone number, to have it as a certain control, etc. So it's an easy, quick one touch, take you specifically to something. And then here, which is pretty good, it will teach you how to, it shows you how to reset. So you go tyre pressures, check that all your tyres aren't damaged, etc. And then you can click reset, and that will just take you to resetting the tyre pressures. If the light maintains on, then you know that there is an issue and you have to get that changed. Alright guys, so we're in the Renault 5 and we're just going to show you how to reset the tyre pressures. should the warning light appear. So obviously make sure you have visually checked your tyres. There's nothing obvious, there's no ruptures, there's no big nails sticking out, anything like that. If you've done that and your tyre pressure warning light is on and you want to reset that, we come into the vehicle, we click the vehicle icon here, we click vehicle, and then you'll see tyre pressure. We press on that, and then as you can see, it talks you through check and adjust the tyre pressures when cold to the right values, and then reset the tyre pressure monitoring system, and we click reset. It will ask you if you've checked them all. You click yes, and it will be going through a manual check there. Reset successful. If the light comes back on, you know that you have got a fault somewhere, and providing that you have checked your tyres, they are inflated correctly. If that light is still staying on, take yourself to the garage, get your tyres checked. There'll be a puncture somewhere of some description. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much. Please hit the like and subscribe, help the channel out, and take a look at some of my other videos and reviews of some of the other Renaults and Dachas that they have on the market. Thank you very much. Driving assistance. So you can set a personal style and you can configure that. You've got your traction control, your active braking, warning anticipation, so you can edit, etc. on there. For the safety, for comfort, you can do following distances for your automatic kind of cruise control, and it can display distances and risk, etc. there. Parking, so we can adjust the sound type of the sensors, which is quite a nice thing. That's a newer feature in newer vehicles. You can go away from those incessantly annoying pings, and you can change the volume. So if you are harder of hearing, you can have it a lot higher, or lower should you wish. Electric, so this is showing, so you can have this displayed as you're driving, and it will show you right now we've got power coming out to the fans, but it can show you where your usage is being used from the battery, and it will go forward to the motor here where you're driving, or if you're braking, it will show energy going back into the battery. So program here, so you can set the charge to work at certain times. So if you've plugged in at home and you've got cheaper tariffs overnight, you can set a program and you can have that charge at certain times, basically. Battery. So it's showing set battery limits, so you can change the usage here. So at the moment, oh no. So we've got the battery here. So it's showing battery limits. So 20% minimum, 100% maximum. You can change where you want it to be, but we don't want it to be dropping below 20, and that's your reserve. So that then the vehicle is going to be telling you to go get it charged. And then the pedestrian warning sound. So you may have heard with electric vehicles, as they're driving slowly around, it will emit a noise, and you can change what that is basically here, just between 3 others. So there's quite a lot of customization now within the vehicle that you can kind of change a lot of your personal preferences on the controls. So with the windows down, the rear windows, as you can see, don't drop completely, and the fronts do. As we move over to the steering wheel, we've got our cruise control controls here. So press that top one here to turn on the cruise control, and then we can set the speed, and we can, as we're driving within cruise control, you can press up to increase speed or down to decrease. If you've had to brake, for example, and override it, you can press RES or resume, and it will take you back to the preset speed. O is off, and it will cancel it completely. Over to the other side, we have our phone, so we can answer a phone call there, or end. This is your favorites button that we discussed, and then this one here will change what's showing on the dash here, and it will just take you through different options on your dash. And then this here is to do your voice activation. Multi-sense button. If you see right up here, I'll press it and it will say eco, sport, your personal, your comfort, or you back to your eco. So you can change its, and that will change its color scheme, but also its power output. So eco is more economic driving. Sport will push more power to the motor, giving you faster acceleration. But obviously that will have a detriment to the overall kind of battery capacity. On your left stalk, automatic lights. Best to leave it on that, but if you don't like it, you can change. And you've got your auto headlights here as well. And then over to the left, we have got your wipers. Again, one click down is, on 0 even, it's best to leave it on that, and that's your auto wipers. And you can adjust the rain sensitivity. So you see these dots here. So at the moment, it would have to be the hardest rain possible for the auto wipers to come on. But you can adjust that down to right down to the bottom. And then you just spin the end stalk to do your rear wiper. As we move over to the side here, you've got your... So this button here is just safety features. So things like the sensors, etc. You can press it and turn it onto a personal settings, or you can press it again and it will be all on. Again, most people, it's best just to leave it and don't play with that button. But if you have gone through the settings that we've talked about before and you want to change those features, you can, and then you can just press that to go your personal. And then this is to adjust the height of your headlights. So the gear shifter for Renault has moved up into the steering wheel column here. So you've got your reverse neutral drive and bi-mode there. One feature to note with the Renault 5 is you can customize this lever here. So this one's obviously got the Renault 5 iconography. You can have it as just a standard black. But I am being told that we can even have things like the French flag on it, for example. So just a feature that you can customize, and it's just to slide off and change there. So the dash here, it's showing speed limiter, which we don't want on. It's telling us to fasten our seatbelts or turn the power off. So that's what's showing there. It's showing we're in eco mode. We've got our miles per hour here. This here is showing us what gear we're in. Obviously we're in neutral at the moment. This little icon here is showing red on the driver's seat because I'm in the vehicle on my own. But you see there's 4 other dots. Those will light up when it feels the sensitivity of someone in the seat, and you can see if the belt comes on. So it's red at the moment. If I were to put my seatbelt on, you'll see it goes green and we're good. So clear or white means there's no one in that seat. Red means there's someone sat in it, but they haven't plugged their seatbelt in. And then green means someone there and it's belted and we're fine. So we're going to take the car for a drive now and see how the overall feel of the vehicle is, how visibility is, road noise, comfort, etc. So as I pull away, I don't need to press the handbrake off. Gentle start of the handbrake will, a gentle press of the accelerator will disengage that handbrake automatically. Indicators are on the left stalk. Over a little speed bump there. So the columns between the doors, there is a little bit of a blind spot, so it's just something to be aware of there. And as mentioned before, the rear column is a bit sizable, but it's one of those things in a small vehicle, obviously visibility is a little bit less. Acceleration, we are in eco, so That's reduced a little bit, but that feels fine. If we were to change it into sport, that would obviously pick up. Road noise is okay. Yeah, it's not anything excessive. I mean, we're going at 47 miles an hour now, and you've got a bit of wind noise, but I'm obviously speaking to you, so we haven't got any music on or anything like that. Speaking of music, Renault Assistance AI, as I've talked to you about, let's show you how that can be really useful while you're driving. So, hey Renault, turn on the radio. Hey Renault, turn up the radio. And you'll see it turns up. What you will notice, if I say, hey Renault, turn down, and then we go. What you can also use it for is, hey Renault, open the driver's window. Now you're going to hear it getting a lot windier. So that's already just opened it for me. Hey Renault, close the driver's window. That's just a very basic example of what the Renault Assistance can do. It can really help you as you're driving to keep your eyes and your focus on the road and give you a kind of more control of your vehicle, get you to use some of those features while, as I say, keeping your hands and focus on the road and the car. Overall, I really like the ride quality. It feels really comfortable. I can see myself being able to have a long journey in this without too much bother. Obviously, prime vehicle for kind of around town and within city. But as I say, I cannot see myself having an issue with this on a longer journey. Braking's responsive. Yeah, pretty firm braking there, which is good. Yeah, very nice. Sorry for the camera being a little bit jolty. We are using a new tripod, so I will work on finding a more useful way of kind of maintaining that. So the Renault website has a really good simulation experience. So you can basically click between the two different batteries and use it to look at how you drive and see how that affects the kind of the actual mileage and range that you'll get from the vehicle. You can choose your temperature, and then you can also choose what kind of driving you do, and that be town, city, open roads, motorways, etc. 20 degrees is a bit rich for the UK, but that's saying 185 mile range. 193 WLTP, which obviously is the test centre perfect conditions, which we just pretty much don't ever get. So if we change some of the settings here to kind of look at how it can affect. So if we drop between the range, so we're going to start with a 40 kilowatt first, drop it down to 5 degrees, and you'll see it drops in range to 135. If we then go to open roads, that goes up to 150. And then on motorways, we're looking at a little bit of a drop to 120, and that's just obviously due to the increase of speed. If we change the temperature, you'll see the value change again. 15 degrees kind of average for the UK, 160 for towns and cities. 215. With the bigger battery, 215. Open roads, you'll see that change again, and then motorways again. So you can really see the different kind of ranges between. So I hope that video was useful for you all. I look to be adding a new video every week. If there's any kind of information you feel I missed or stuff you wanted to hear that I haven't done, please do let me know. In the meantime, if you could like and subscribe, that would really, really help me push these videos out, and help me be able to do this long term. And once again, thank you to Hendy Brighton for facilitating the vehicle. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.